Here till 6, and the place was already a zoo. People parking where the mall is. You arrived even earlier, and there's wall-to-wall standing room. Only 1 million Cowboys jerseys, hats, and wow, Tip, look at you all decked out in your jersey, and me wearing my Cowboys shirt. I freaking love it. Back to me. We're back.
It is amazingly packed in here. If you want to know what a super spreader looks like, it might be this. But I'm just talking about because of the amount of Cowboys fans that are here, man. I am super excited about this. No promises, but we are working on trying to see if we can get Troy Aikman onto the show. That would be
phenomenal,
huge if we were able to do that. But Brandon, let's talk a little bit about some of the sports stuff coming up. I want to keep it a little Cowboys centric. Okay, disappointing last year the way that they lost the season. Going to the playoffs, best team in the NFC East, unable to capitalize on that, lose to the lowly, disgusting, despicable San Francisco 49ers, a team that should be disbanded for cheating in all levels. What can the Dallas Cowboys do to get better this year? Because I'm not expecting them to be the same team defensively, because defense is so hard to keep up like that. Trayvon Diggs isn't going to get 11 interceptions. Micah Parsons isn't going to lead the league in sacks. What does this team need to do to get over that hump?
Well, clearly, as far as I'm concerned, it starts with coaching. I mean, I think that Mike McCarthy made some bad calls, and I think that he gambles a lot, and when you gamble a lot, you're going to lose sometimes, and unfortunately his gambles didn't always pay off, and obviously it starts from the higher ups. Okay, you got, if you're going to be successful in this league, not only do you have to be a well-coached organization, but a well-run organization as well, and part of it to me is that, anytime that you have success during the regular season, it just never translates over to the postseason. So clearly, I mean, look, Zeke has to have a great year, but I also think that you need to be a more two-dimensional back team. You need to throw Pollard in there more, because Zeke is not the running back he was a few years ago. Ever since he re-signed, he got that big bonus, he got that big contract extension. He has never been the same back. And obviously, defense was certainly one of their stronger points last year. I concur in the respect that we'll see where it goes. I mean, I don't know if it's going to keep getting better. That would surely be nice. At least you have the coordinators back. So The core is there. But again, Zeke has to have a great year. I mean, how are they going to be, what's the wide receiver situation without Cooper? I mean, to me, Lamb was good, but he had a lot of drops. So, and Dak, to me, was good, but he wasn't great.
He's no Troy Aikman.
No, he's no Troy Aikman. No,
that was good. You have to admit, that was good.
That was clever. Yeah.
Our dude, Stephen Michael Puga, the lone Eagles fan, tuned into this show. You might want to turn it off, my guy. He said that he was going to come out here and troll, but I feel like if he came out here amongst this crowd of Cowboys fans, it would not turn out good for him. I encouraged him to come out, though, because I welcome that type of chaos. But you hit the nail right on the head, right? And I know that we saw early on in the year, or actually just last week, Zeke looks so much better. He's faster. He's stronger. He's this. He's that. I feel like we hear that every year. And every year he starts off red hot, right? And then comes week 3, and he's a shell of who he was in 2016, 2017. The one thing that we cannot take away from him is that since he's been in the NFL, he has led the NFL in rushing. Total rushing for the entire time that he's been in the NFL. He is a workhorse for the Dallas Cowboys. My biggest question for them isn't the wide receiver core, although I do have my questions there, because you do lose Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup was a stopgap last year, tore his ACL in the final week of the season. What is that receiving core for the Dallas Cowboys going to be? But my biggest issue is the issue that I've had for the last couple of years. Outside of Zach Martin, what is that offensive line? They lost La'el Collins, who wasn't great. Tyler Biotish isn't great. Tyron Smith is 175 years old. He's the oldest living human being on this earth. He is a dinosaur in actuality.
Right, absolutely.
That offensive line is my biggest question for the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't care if it's Troy Aikman, if it's Tony Romo, if it's Roger Dan Staubach himself. Nobody can throw when the offensive line has that kind of holes in it.
Yeah, I mean, it all starts with the offensive line. And, for years, it's like, people were criticizing them for going in on offensive linemen so early. And ultimately, you can criticize the team all you want, but everything begins and ends with the offensive line. And, I mean, it makes everybody around you so much more effective. And that's another big concern coming into the year. And certainly they were decimated by injuries last year by that O-line. And, I mean, look, even with a great offensive line, Zeke had his issues. And again, I talked about that earlier. But of course, the fact that you lose your number one, that just means that Lamb has to step up so much more, and they have to use the tight end so much more. And ultimately, Dak has to me, maybe scramble more than he even did last year, coming off of that serious ankle injury.
But do you feel like that ankle injury is kind of stopping him from going? Because so speaking from someone who's kind of been in this thing, we saw it happen with RG3, right? That injury, it stays in your head, especially how gruesome that was, the way that he was looking at his leg, trying to put it back in place when it happened. I feel like that's still in his head, that he doesn't fully trust his own body at this point to try to continue and do the things that we as Dallas Cowboys fans want him to do, which is, dude, you are such a gifted athlete. He's like Josh Allen, but to me a little faster. He's built just as big. He's a faster dude. He just doesn't run the way that Josh Allen runs. And I think it's because it's in his head now from what happened with that injury.
Yeah, I mean, psychologically, whenever you have that type of an injury, and he was absolutely on fire, sometimes it will get to you because you don't want to have that injury happen again, because then more than likely your playing days are over. I mean, and that's the thing, is you become very frail. And I mean, that was the problem is that's one of the reasons why he was such a diverse QB, is because of his mobility. And if that mobility is taken away, I don't think that he has. I mean, he's accurate, but does he have enough accuracy to make up for that lack of mobility? That's the big question.
Also want to give a big shout out to our friend Dan Morales, tuning in right now as well, sitting literally across the table from me right now. Came on out here to see if he can too get a glimpse of the one and only Troy Aikman as he comes in. Now, Brandon, I know the path that he's coming in.
Yeah.
It's literally right behind us.
Yes, he's going to be coming in behind us.
So for me, what I want to do is, as soon as we hear that he's here, I need you to do Brandon the Iceman Cohn things and just physically grab him, bring him over here.
Grab him.
Okay.
Well, I already talked to his head of security, so he already knows me. I said, do you know who I am, sir? And I said, we need to get Mr. Aikman on the show. So hopefully that is one reason why he will be, very happy to come on the tipping point for us.
I also want to, like I said, I was giving a shout out to our dude Dan Morales, Thrive 915, Melt the Belt food truck. Some of y'all may have seen some of the videos I put up. That food is going to be the reason why I will wind up looking like what Brandon looked like before the Iceman melted. I don't know what was happening over there, Brandon. There's someone's phone. It's someone's phone.
Oh.
Maybe if we turn our camera around, we'll get the same type of love. What do you think?
I don't see why not. I mean, we're here, right? They're like, oh, look at these two fellas. They're doing a live show.
Look at these two handsome guys.
Very handsome,
Very phenomenal young individuals. Not so much young anymore.
Just phenomenal.
Phenomenal. All right, so we spoke a little bit about what the Dallas Cowboys need on the offensive side. I already told you I don't think that the defense is going to translate over to this year because it's so hard for defense. That's the hardest thing in football, is for your defense to keep doing what they were doing. With as spectacular as Parsons was, with as spectacular as Trayvon Diggs was, dude, they gave up a lot of points. That was their Achilles heel, is they gave up a lot of points. They lose a guy on the defensive line in Randy Gregory. Wanted to sign with Dallas, decided he wanted to go to Colorado where they got free weed. What? That was reckless. Oh, well. DeMarcus Lawrence is, again, it's almost the same thing with Zeke Elliott, right? He's in phenomenal shape. It's going to be the best year we've seen of him. But we haven't seen that guy that we expect to see. What is it that the Dallas Cowboys need to do defensively? Because right now you cannot just rely on hoping that Diggs gets interceptions and Parsons gets sacks. Although I will say Parsons is probably the most unstoppable person on defense, and that is not hyperbole. That is the truth. He is the most unstoppable person on defense.
He really is. He really is. And, I mean, I think they have the fundamentals and the building blocks to be able to create that great defense and continue. And, again, Quinn is an amazing defensive coordinator, and this isn't his first rodeo. I'm really glad that he's returning for the season. I didn't think he was going to come back. I thought he was going to get a head coaching job, and he's well deserving of being a head coach. So don't expect to have him past the season. So they really have to strike when the iron is hot, when you have a brilliant defensive mind there. Now that Quinn has his first year in the books in Dallas, I think he can try more things, diversify more, utilize the weapons that they have on defense, and clearly they need to improve even more in the secondary. Okay, they need to improve more in the secondary, and they need to also get more pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Okay, I think if they could do those couple of things, then you'll be seeing vast improvement, hopefully, defensively. Because look, You can't just be in a shootout every game and expect that you're going to be a successful team, because you will lose eventually, and that's the problem.
And see, that's my thing with the Cowboys. Is offensively, they can deal with anybody. At least last year's team, right? Whenever you have Amari Cooper, whenever you have a healthy Michael Gallup, you don't have Cooper anymore. Well, it had to be, in my mind, the dumbest damn trade possible. I know you do it to get rid of like cap space and all that stuff. A 5th-round pick, that's all you got for one of the best receivers in the game.
Again, bad management, bad organization, poorly run. When you're piss poor like that, you play piss poor during the regular season.
Especially whenever you see what Cleveland gave up for damn Deshaun Watson.
I know, the ranch, right? I mean,
that blows my mind.
And the guy hasn't played for a season, and who knows if he'll play this year. He won't. Well, I mean, it's very suspect with all the allegations. But again, you are only as good as management sees to it. And year after year after year, and even hiring McCarthy, I hope Peyton's their next head coach. I think this is the last year for McCarthy, unless they get to the Super Bowl, and we know that's not going to happen.
So I need the music to get a little bit louder before I give this hot take out here, because I do not want to get beat up by Dallas Cowboys fans. I am one of you. Please hear me out here.
Look at the jersey.
Yeah, I mean unless you're a Cowboys fan, you don't get a personalized jersey.
This is nice. It says Tipton on it.
Yes, and it is a '67 throwback. My favorite jersey with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think this team's going to make the playoffs this year. I don't think this team wins 9 games this year. I think they're going to be under 500, just because, like I said, the main points that you have in football, the most important thing is your offensive line. They lost on the offensive line. Yes, you don't know who you drafted yet, right? That Cooper thing, that's a huge deal, dude. Huge. And then, of course, defensively, I think they're going to regress, because you're not going to be able to repeat what you already did.
It's tough.
This is not a playoff team to me. Then you look at the rest of the NFC East. Outside of Washington, which is just a dumpster fire to begin with, New York got better, substantially better, and Philadelphia got leaps and bounds better, getting A.J. Brown for what was nothing, basically, from Tennessee, giving themselves a dynamic receiver, drafting some receivers, drafting the position help that they needed. That's a team that I think, and I know it's super unpopular, but that's a team that I think is going to win the NFC East, because I think Dallas is going to regress.
And don't they have like a statistic tip where the year after they win the division, like they're never making the playoffs like 2 years in a row?
There hasn't been a repeat champion in the NFC East since the Eagles did it in 2003 and 2004. Wrap your mind around that concept.
Yeah.
This division is always up in the air. You remember whenever we were young, strapping men in our early 20s, one of us was 11 whenever the team won a Super Bowl last?
That would have been you.
That hurts saying that out loud. Holy shit.
At least I was able to remember it in high school, junior year.
But that was one of the toughest divisions. And then now they just seem like an absolute cupcake. Like whoever has just the better talent at that week is going to be the best team. You can't look at what the Cowboys have done during the offseason, a very quiet offseason, very quiet free agency, not any impactful trades. That Cooper trade, again, to me was so weird. I don't see what this team is doing, and it feels like to me the window is already, if it's not closed already, Brandon, it's damn near there.
Look, I mean, that's the thing, is that people need to remember that your window is just like that. Like this maybe. It can be changed. Everything can be changed in a heartbeat. And if you don't believe me, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Their window, people thought were going to last years and years and years. And all the years they've been as good as they have, with one of the best QBs in the game, Mahomes. You've won one Super Bowl. Yeah. That's it. One.
Well, it's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard.
But for me, whenever winning a Super Bowl is the expectation, that shouldn't be the expectation. The expectation should be winning your division, because we've seen it. When you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. Nobody, absolutely nobody, would have said last year that they would have put their money on the Cincinnati Bengals being in the Super Bowl. Very few people would have said the Rams in the Super Bowl. It's a crapshoot.
Yep.
All you have to do is just get there. And I don't know if the Dallas Cowboys, the way that they're constructed right now, can get there.
I don't think they are. I mean, look, you mean to tell me that they could compete with a team like the Rams? Really? I mean, you're going to put them in the same sentence as the LA Rams or as the Kansas City Chiefs or as the Green Bay Packers. I mean, it saddens me to say this, but I've always said, and you know me as well as anybody, that I'm an extreme realist. And if you look at the top tier teams, the top 3 or 4 best teams in the NFL, and right now, at least for now, Cincinnati's up there because they are the AFC champions.
I don't think they are. They won so many games by 3 points that it's not like it's another one of those you're going to regress to the mean, right?
You never know.
They won so many one.
They got that great quarterback. You know what I mean? And they got a great kicker too. I like him.
I'll say McPherson is phenomenal. But like I think Burrow got away with a lot of throws, and he was exposed in the Super Bowl. Their offensive line again was a big issue in the Super Bowl. I don't know if I consider them one of the 4 best teams in the NFL. Actually, Celeste, can we get Celeste in here for just a little bit? Brandon, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, yeah.
So we can talk to Celeste about what's going on here at Union Draft House, some of the awesome specials and things like that y'all have going on. Celeste, thank you so much for having us come out here.
I'm looking really crazy right now. Hey, guys. I was just at Bikini Joe's, and it was complete madness. Well, good madness, of course. And then came here, same thing. We're so excited and so grateful to have the opportunity to have Troy Aikman come today.
Were y'all expecting crowds like this?
Honestly, we kind of were because it's Troy Aikman, and we know like El Paso is Cowboys fanatics, especially Troy Aikman.
Especially you.
Yes, especially me. So I was right next to. I was with him the whole time at Bikinis, and I fell in love. I did. I did fall in love.
I will say this: he's arguably one of the best-looking men. Like the Cowboys have done it right?
Yes.
You went from Aikman to Romo to Dak Prescott, all very good-looking men.
Yes.
And like all of them on my man crush list.
Yes. Definitely.
I have a 100-person man crush list.
You should have seen his skin. He was literally glowing like from within. I was like, I need your skincare routine, sir.
Was there an aura around him? Like as he walked in, everyone was like, "Oh my God, that's Troy Aikman."
It was pure madness from when he stepped inside Papa Joe's. It was crazy. So we expect it to be the same thing. He's going to be upstairs. Today we do have $3 8 pints, and then it's $5 3-topping pizza day. And I can't believe it's a Monday and it's like this. It's crazy. Both parking spaces are all booked. It's crazy.
So what specials do y'all have going on over here at can we also include like the Bikini Joe's locations?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
The summer's upon us. Everyone's out of school. Everyone's needing to get out and do some stuff. Union Draft House to me is always a place to come to. They got the pizza deals. They got some of the best wings in town. What are some of the deals that y'all have going on this summer?
Yes, so for Union Draft House, we have daily. Well, for Union and Bikini Joe's, we have daily specials every single day. So I'll just start with Union. Mondays we have $5 3-topping pizza. Tuesday we have $4 New Mexico Brewery pints. Wednesday it's $1 pizza day, of course. Thursday is $5 OG burgers. Friday is Floated Friday, so $4 selected pints. And then Saturday is Cider Day, so it's $4 ciders and sours and $2 build your own pizza till 4 p.m. And then Sunday, finally, $20 mimosa pitchers and $2 pizza as well. So, yeah. I
have to ask you, how on God's green earth with like all the good food, all the beer, do you stay in shape?
I waist train and I eat once a day because I'm always on the go, so I don't really eat a lot.
Well, yeah. Celeste, once again, thank you so much for hosting us. Thank you so much for having us out here.
Of course.
I know you're super busy.
Yes, I'm about to go back out there in the madness. I'm kind of sad, but yes. Thank you for pulling me away for a little bit.
If there's any way, we would like to be able to like at least say hi to Troy. So again, I'm putting as much pressure as I can on you. I never ask for anything. I never ask for anything from anybody. But even if he doesn't come, I will say this. I know Celeste will try her hardest.
I will try my hardest.
But we're up to his mercy, his people, things of that nature. I just know that she can give you like the little eyes and the smile, and maybe that'll do it.
I hope he's going to see me again right now. So I'm going to be like, round 2, sir.
If I did it, they would call security and get me thrown the hell out.
Just bat your eyes at him. That's it.
Right. Okay. Again, Celeste, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you.
We'll get Brandon back over here momentarily. As you spit all over the place. As there's spittle all over the place. This guy.
Oh, my goodness. Hello, Celeste. How are you? What a nice young lady.
Oh, Celeste is awesome. anytime you see anything posted on social media from Union Draft House or Bikini Joe's, that is Celeste, who is running those accounts. She is their social media manager over here for Cabo and for Union Draft House. She does a phenomenal job. Brendan, I feel like 10,000 more people came into this building in just the last 20 minutes.
You can't move. Like literally, there it's like usually, you know, a little area there, little area here. You cannot move over here. Behind us is slammed. It's going to be a freaking zoo when this guy comes in here. You know?
I am going to remove my camera. We can still hear me speaking.
You want me to get out of the way?
No.
Okay.
So that way we can kind of just
over
show
there, pan
around.
to the right. It's
The
crazy
way that
stuff.
it is over there, the sea.
Definitely standing room only. That's
The
for
sea
sure.
of people back out there.
The sea of humanity.
And they have an outdoor patio as well.
That's awesome. It's amazing.
So
It
there
really
you
is a
go.
great
You got
scene.
all of that going
I've
on
never
here.
seen this place this
The
packed
sea of
before.
humanity. We've got Dan Morales. But Brendan, this has been absolutely phenomenal to see. And I had said it previously. I feel
Sorry about that.
I feel like anytime Troy Aikman is around, this has to be like his norm, right? Like there's just a swarm of people because he's a 3-time Super Bowl champion.
He is. I mean, and he's one of the, to me, I've always said that he's one of the top. I mean, people may argue, are you nuts? At least top 15 of all time, no doubt. I mean, I say top 10. I say maybe you could put him at like 10. But I mean, his numbers were amazing. And yes, you know, those Cowboys teams of the 90s were, they had a Pro Bowler at virtually every position. But people need to remember how incredible of a quarterback and how great of a game manager he was overall. Yeah, exactly. He didn't make a lot of mistakes. And he was always great when he needed to be great.
Well, see, and that was always my issue that I had with fans, right? Because everyone's like, I think once in his career he threw for over 20 touchdowns. Whenever you have one of, if not the greatest, running backs in the history of the game, in the 90s and 80s, you ran the damn ball.
Yeah.
Not to mention, look at, like, he got Michael Irvin to a Hall of Fame. He got Jay Novacek as one of the greatest tight ends in the history of the game, right? That team was just built so well. I don't know if I agree with you on the top 15 because, like, off the top of my head, I can give you guys like Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, Tom Brady, and then like Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, individuals like that.
Sure, but
because
how many
they're
rings
stats.
do those guys have? They have one. A lot of them have one. And here's the thing. Stats are wonderful,
I said
but in
Tom
the end,
Brady, and
yeah,
you brought up how many rings.
yeah,
those guys
okay.
have.
We all know Tom Brady's the GOAT. I'm not discounting that Brady's number one overall. I never said that. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you. You're my buddy. I ain't got nothing but love for you. But I'm saying like top 15 because he has 3 Super Bowls. And remember, after the first one, they lost their 1-2 punch. They lost Alvin Harper.
Yeah.
So he was pretty damn good. They lost him after the first one and then went on to win 2 more in the next 3 years. And really should have won 3 more, but Switzer came in. And anyways, we'll save that for another topic.
I want to dive into this. I didn't think it was a Switzer thing. I thought it was Charles Haley going over to San Francisco, along with Deion Sanders at the conception of free agency, and that's what basically created that team for them.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, that's a fluke championship. I take that championship away from the 49ers, so they have 4. I hate that team. You all have no idea. Like, you know better than anybody. I am not an emotional fan. I was mad. I was borderline livid when they lost to the 49ers in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Because if there's one team that I cannot stand, it is the San Francisco 49ers. They're terrible, absolute terrible fan base, that joke of a stadium. As a matter of fact, I hate people wearing red. But that to me, like that's,
So do I.
that's what won the championship for the 49ers then, was like those free agency moves and the 1-year deals. It's crazy to think that the Cowboys could have had 4 straight Super Bowls, something we would have never seen again in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't happen. It didn't happen back then in the 90s. Doesn't happen nowadays. Like you said, it's too hard to win a Super Bowl. But again, anybody that followed them back then, we were young enough to remember it, or old enough, I should say, at the time to remember, like I was. Thankfully, you know that was one of the best teams in NFL history, hands down. No arguments. I mean, any of those Super Bowls, I wouldn't say, hey, this team was as good as maybe the 85 Bears who had like the single greatest season in NFL history. But any of those teams could have went with any of the great teams in NFL history. They were that great at every position.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly.
So we'll get back to some of the Dallas Cowboys stuff. Once again, we're over here at Union Draft House and in Sunland Park. My dude, Brandon the Iceman Cohn. We got Dan Morales hanging out. We've got a horde of Dallas Cowboys fans out here. It feels like I'm at the stadium right now.
Yeah, right? You might as well be.
I'm just missing the huge 97-yard TV.
Absolutely.
I want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that went on over the last couple of weeks, right? The Golden State Warriors won themselves a championship. Brandon's not listening to me at all.
Yes, I am. I heard you want to talk about the Golden State Warriors. The great dynasty of the Warriors right now.
Do you consider that the greatest dynasty since Jordan?
I love what they've done. I mean, I really do. And I don't see how you could argue with them being the greatest dynasty since Jordan. You point out to me one team that's been more successful for the longevity that they've been successful for. And the fact that everybody, with all the injuries and KD leaving, everybody want to discount them and say they were done. Their reign, including me. We've argued about this before. They're done. Their reign, they won a few, whatever. They goofed to Cleveland that one year. But the fact that they came back this year and then win it again against a really good Boston Celtics team, they're bringing all their talented players back. They're all signed. They're all in their prime. They're all great. I mean, to me, who's going to beat them, for crying out loud? You know what I mean?
So I can see this team possibly winning more championships in the future. The one dynasty that I would say, okay, maybe I was prisoner of the moment, Brandon.
Yeah.
The LA Lakers of the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
Those early Shaq and Kobe teams.
Sure.
And just Kobe Bryant on the LA Lakers as a whole. In his time frame there from 1990, or I guess from 2000 until 2010, he won 5 championships.
Well, yeah, clearly. But I mean, the thing is that I'm going to say that was a great dynasty. But remember, this team had arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest center of all time. You had Kobe, who's the top 5 player of all time, and ultimately, thank you. Ultimately, you have, this is huge. I'm enjoying this. Anyways, you have, Phil Jackson, to me, the Zen, one of the greatest coaches of all time, put him up there with Red Auerbach. So you had all the pieces to be that dynasty and win 3 in 4 years?
3 in 3 years.
And
then 5 in 10 years.
Right.
So for me, okay, I would put the Warriors up against them. But if you're gonna say, the qualifier of having Shaq and Kobe, you have 2 of the greatest shooters this game has ever seen in Klay Thompson and in Steph Curry.
Sure.
Literally changed the entire game of basketball. For me, I feel like though, and it's so dumb to do this because you can't, but I feel like if we were able to go back in time, this team would run the Lakers off the floor.
Wow, that's an interesting claim.
Because Shaq would have to move you. We saw what happened to Robert Williams III. He had to move up, one of the greatest defenders we've seen in recent times.
Sure.
He had to move up and became absolutely a liability on defense because Steph can shoot from anywhere on the court. You run a high pick and roll with the big guy, you have neutralized what Shaq can do defensively. Offensively, I'll take 3 against 2 all day.
I have to disagree with you. I think that there would be some matchups in favor of Golden State, no doubt. And they've been amazing. But, there has been proof that they are indeed beatable, if you know what I mean. So, I mean, I figure if those 2 teams played each other 4 times, I think they'd split 2-2. I do. I mean, I just don't think that you can really say how great Shaq was, especially in his prime, which was with the Lakers. And that Shaq and Kobe 1-2 duo was absolutely stunning. And I love Klay Thompson and I love Steph Curry. He's unbelievable, one of the top point guards of all time. Finally got his MVP, well deserved. But I don't think there's any way you could say with certainty. Again, we're talking different eras too. We're talking early 2000s versus later 2000s, the 20s and all that. But very impressive nevertheless, because you're usually out of commission for a couple of years. You don't just come back and win another championship like that.
And that's the thing that people need to realize too, right? Like Klay Thompson being able to come back from 2, what would have been like a decade and a half ago, career-ending injuries.
Unbelievable.
Able to come back and be at least a contributor.
Yeah.
And not just a contributor, but a great offensive player able to do his thing. That shows you what the fortitude on this team. And then, of course, like you said, Steph Curry, I wasn't one of the people that was like, oh, this guy needs to win a Finals MVP to be considered one of the greatest of all time. He already was.
Absolutely.
So to me, when you're the first ever unanimous MVP of any game, you're pretty damn good.
Of course he's pretty damn good. And
especially whenever you played around the time LeBron James played.
Absolutely. And I mean, look, we know he's been the heart and soul of that team throughout the entirety of the run and of the dynasty of what they're doing. But again, I don't think you can take anything away from Steve Kerr as well. Unbelievable job that he's done every single year.
How crazy is that Steve Kerr quietly, very quietly, has 9 championships?
How many did Red Auerbach have?
9.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. Didn't he have around 9? I think he had around 9.
No, he had 13. No, 16. Damn, I'm an idiot.
Did he have that 16? Many? 16 titles?
As a coach and a GM, he has 16 titles.
I mean, obviously, the greatest Celtics teams, you know what I mean? Of all time.
That's like, I hate doing this thing because I believe it is something that should be said. Whenever people bring up like, oh, Jordan played against plumbers, no, he didn't. Jordan played against legit NBA talent. Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, though, yeah, they played against some pretty suspect competition in a time where there was 8 teams in the league. So obviously the chance of them winning a title was so much higher than what we have now. I'm not going to say we take those titles away. I don't look at them like the NFL championship before we got the Super Bowl. But I will say this, Brandon. I don't value those championships, and I know this is unpopular. I don't value those championships as much as I value the ones recently. The ones from the 80s and the merger on, where you had real competition.
I mean, again, that's a very subjective opinion. I mean, because certainly real competition has always been there, but the game, to me, is not as good as it used to be. And I will say that. I will give you the fact that nobody plays defense anymore. All everybody wants to do is shoot a 3. It's all about offense. So has the game lost some of its luster? Absolutely. I mean, I don't like the game as much as I used to. But, I mean, an era is still an era. It's still very challenging today, just like it was 25 years ago when the Bulls were doing it.
Well, and then you have to look at it like you're playing against one of the greatest players of all time in LeBron. You've got that specter there all the time. Obviously, I don't know if you've heard, but LeBron now wants to go to the Golden State Warriors.
No, he doesn't. Not LeBron.
He
go to another super team, really?
He has said that he wouldn't mind if there was a trade that moved him to Golden State. If I'm the Warriors, I stay the hell away from that. Because we've seen LeBron James destroy franchises.
You don't need him.
He left Cleveland.
You don't need him.
And Cleveland became a shell of itself whenever he went to Miami. No. He left Miami. And if not for Pat Riley being there, they would have been a shell of themselves as well. Goes back to Cleveland, wins a championship. Good job, you, LeBron. Leaves Cleveland. They are a shell of themselves one more time. And now, as the de facto GM of the LA Lakers, one of the most storied franchises in the history of sports, not just basketball, sports, he has them currently on their roster as a shell of who they were with their glory in the past. If I'm the Warriors, I stay as far away from that as I physically can.
You don't really need him. And what's been most interesting about LeBron or about the Warriors is that when they lost KD, I think a lot of people, maybe including myself, thought this dynasty truly is over. They won't be as nearly as good as they were. They won't win another championship. But again, that's how well-run of an organization is, and that's how if you have those 3 superstars, which they do, it'll prove time and time again you can be very successful. But they don't need a LeBron James. I mean, LeBron James is in his twilight. Clearly, we know he's in his twilight.
Where does LeBron rank on your top basketball players of all time?
I got to give him a solid 2 or 3.
Okay, so 2. I get Jordan, right? Behind Jordan.
Well, yeah, Jordan's 1.
If he's 3, where is he at behind? Like, who's he behind at 3?
See, and that's a great question. I mean, that really is a great question. And some of these players, I mean, look, some people would say Kareem. I think a lot of people, you couldn't argue with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Obviously, Magic. Larry Bird. I mean, what?
Magic is not a top 5 player to me.
Oh, he sure is, though.
No, he's not.
I think he is, no doubt.
He's not.
Why not?
Off the top of my head, again. And I would love to see this argument.
Your top 5.
Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Wilt, Shaq.
And you know what? Shaq to me is the greatest center in NBA history. A lot of people would.
I'm about to say, like, I want to put him in number 3.
Did you order?
I didn't. I'll take it then.
Yeah, I mean, if you're bringing it to me, I'm going to have it. Thank you.
I also want to give a shout out to our waitress, Alyssa. She's been doing a phenomenal job.
Phenomenal.
I feel for these, like the wait staff here at Union Draft House today, because they are getting abused. Oh, yeah. Again, this is a pretty decent sized area. And I'd like to say there's about 275,000 people here right now.
I tell you what, I don't know how you reserved this table, but you did a nice job.
Yeah.
You must have had to fight off 20 people to get this table.
I wish we had like the velvet ropes like that. I think next time what we need to do whenever we do stuff like this is have velvet ropes. That way we can have a little bit of quiet. And I don't have to strain my voice. I had to MC an event where I was screaming and growling like a wrestler, right? Like, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My voice has not recovered from that. I am straining my voice just to talk to you so that you can hear me right now.
And likewise, I'm trying to shouting and you're sitting right next to me. And I'm hoping our viewers at home can hear us well too. You know, I'm doing my best.
Can. Yes, they can. I can see the subtitles on it as well. Dan has been nice and helping us out, making sure people can hear. I know Destiny has been doing the same as well. Thank you for your hard work and dedication. You are not getting a paycheck at all.
No, but she's always wonderful. I'm so happy to see Destiny and the kids.
Okay. So I gave you my top 5.
Yeah.
Right. I'll do the thing that pisses everyone off. I'm putting Shaq at 3. So Jordan 1, LeBron 2, Shaq, Kareem, Wilt. I'm debating on putting Kobe up there because I loved Kobe Bryant, but I don't know if he has the legacy those guys have. I'll give you my top 10, and I don't think Magic's on there. Bill Russell, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan. I'm missing somebody. I had him in the top of my head right now.
How about
I'll put Larry Bird, and then at 10, I'll put Magic. But on the board right there, at 10, Magic. No, Hakeem Olajuwon. So Magic will be number 11 right now. And it's no slight to him. And you can even make an argument that Steph Curry belongs in the top 10.
And if he keeps doing what he's doing, I wouldn't disagree that he belongs in the top 10, at least, you know, right there. Top number 10, number 11, you know.
Just wanted to say Magic was a great player in a very crappy league at the time.
I don't know if you can say that.
What about Boston? They were super good back then.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it. So Magic had to go up against guys like Dr. J, Larry Bird, Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, Michael Jordan, the Pistons of that era. Granted, it wasn't like, you know, some of the names that you're getting now, but it's not a crappy NBA. If it was the 70s, yeah. Like to me, anything that happened in the 70s should never be recognized in the NBA because there was nobody playing back then, right? Like the bigger stars back then, and people don't realize this, Brandon, the bigger stars in basketball back then were in the ABA.
Yeah.
They merged. You never merge. Like leagues never merge unless it's a win-win for everybody, right? The ABA had to be kicking the NBA's ass in order for the NBA to say, okay, let's bring this in. Please give me the Pacers, give me the Nets, give me the Spurs, give me the Nuggets, and so on and so forth. So that way we don't have to compete with them anymore. That's the only way you merge. And you brought in stars like George Gervin, like Julius Erving. I mean, Chocolate Thunder himself. I mean,
Daryl Dawkins.
Names,
I love that guy.
So many names that you could think of. Skywalker. Like you think of all these names that came into the NBA because of the merger. Anything that happened, like to me, from 78 before is so hard to put any type of value on because you had such a diluted NBA product.
Well, and you know what? I tell you what, and the diluted is an understatement considering where we've come, you know, and the way it is, you know, nowadays. And you want to talk about being diluted. I mean, again, there's a lot of great players around there today, but I certainly think that some of these players. And sometimes, you know, unfortunately, you're only as good as your era allows you to be. I mean, if you played in such a dominant era versus a sub-dominant era, then people aren't going to remember you in the same fashion. Without a doubt. Oh, yeah. You able to hear me okay? Wanted to make sure.
You're a professional. You have done this for damn near 2 decades.
I have.
How do you talk away from the microphone?
Well, it's because I was trying to get closer and talk to you, but then I realized that I better be talking damn close to the microwave. I apologize about that.
I got nothing but love for you, my guy.
Likewise, right back at you.
Okay, so again, we're over here at Union Draft House. They've got a great event going on today. The one and only Dallas Cowboys legend, Troy Aikman, will be here in just under 19 minutes. Brandon, I am putting all the pressure on you. Or maybe Dan can do it, or Destiny, or somebody. We need to be at the front of this damn line. I probably should have told Celeste that, but this is producing on the back end.
Yeah. Well, we got to do our best. We know he's going to come in from a certain area.
I will be rock bottoming people.
Huh?
I will be hitting people with the rock bottom, the people's elbow, the stone cold stunner.
I'm just hoping that, your girl Celeste, she's the one in charge of, like, him, right? Like media, media appearance.
I believe so, but we got to figure all that out.
Yeah.
Yes. She's going to bat the eyes at him. She's going to try to get him to come on the show. He is running a little early, so that works in our favor. So let's see, fingers crossed, we can get some time with the one and only Troy Aikman. Again, though, Brandon the Iceman Cohn, Mike Tipton, the meat slinging Mike Tipton. It's a meat slinging Monday. That's the reason why I got the hat. I decided to put on the jersey because I wanted to not be the one sticking out without any Dallas Cowboys stuff on. Who do you think is the team in the NFL, Brandon, that's going to have the biggest step backwards?
That's a great question. I think that Baltimore could be one of those teams because I love Lamar Jackson, but I feel that he's not as efficient as he was. I feel that defenses have picked up on him quite a bit. And obviously we know their red-hot start last year, and then they crumbled at the end. I think that, this is a team that has a lot of potential. They have a solid defense. They have a great quarterback. But I feel that you could see them decline this coming season, especially with as good as the AFC North could potentially be. I'm going to say the Baltimore Ravens. You?
I think the team that's going to take the biggest step back are the Cincinnati Bengals. I do not see the way that they are constructed right now, this team making it to a Super Bowl. I don't see this team making the playoffs.
Really?
They won so many close games last year. McPherson is a different beast. But they did lose some major pieces on their offensive line. They did lose some major pieces on defense. My biggest question to them is Joe Burrow, because I mentioned it earlier. I don't think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he's a decent quarterback. I think he caught lightning in a bottle. We saw that happen to Joe Flacco, but at least Joe Flacco has a ring to show for it. I think that team is in trouble because I feel like Cleveland got better if Deshaun Watson plays or not, because they got themselves a game-changing wide receiver in Amari Cooper. They still have Kareem Hunt. They still have Nick Chubb. They still have Myles Garrett. Then you look at what the Pittsburgh Steelers did, and I hate saying this because I hate that franchise. You can see where I'm going on teams that I hate, right?
I see the trend. Look. I see. I understand the trend. Yes, I do.
I think Mitch Trubisky got a bad deal in Chicago. I don't think he's the best quarterback of all time, obviously. But he's an upgrade over what we saw was a shell of Ben Roethlisberger. They still have great talent on that team. Chase Claypool, a phenomenal wide receiver. Their running back, Hines, a phenomenal running back. TJ Watt. It's so hard for me to look at this team. They just signed Minka Fitzpatrick to a long-term deal. It's so hard for me to look at this team being worse, them or Cleveland being worse than a Baltimore or a Cincinnati Bengals team that caught lightning in a bottle.
I mean, I'm going to disagree because I think that Burrow is a legit quarterback. I mean, especially what he did coming off such a significant injury. And I feel that this is a team that you're going to see just get better and better. Okay, I mean, And obviously we have seen one-hit wonders where they have a great season and then you never hear from them again. And if anybody would be capable of that, it would be the previously obscure Cincinnati Bengals. So I'm very impressed with what they were able to accomplish. I do agree the NFC North will be stacked, no doubt. One of the better divisions in football. With that said, I think the sky's the limit for Cincinnati, and I feel they have all the pieces to make another run to go to a Super Bowl.
What team do you think is going to be that team that makes the biggest step forward?
Honestly, and I know Cowboys fans are going to be pissed off me, but I think Philadelphia could be decent.
I'm glad it's loud.
I mean, I hope nobody heard that besides you and our buddy here. I just think that it's that Aikman behind us, though. I think that Philly, I like Hurts. I think they have, a good team. I think they're going to be interesting to see how well they're going to play this year.
I think they'll be okay despite Hurts, in spite of Hurts, because they have so much talent on offense now. Miles Sanders is a decent running back. They've got a decent defense. Stephen Michael
Good receivers.
Puga,
Good
pointed
receivers.
out the people on defense.
Good tight end and good tight end. The kid
Yeah.
they got from Arizona.
Yeah, and to me, whenever you get a game-changing receiver like A.J. Brown, that's what you need to put up points against teams like Dallas. The Giants, to me, I don't know if they made enough moves. They won't be a bottom dweller because luckily they've got Washington in that league or in that division.
The Commanders.
I would have preferred they stay
With football
with
team?
football team.
Agreed. They're not Commanders. They're definitely not Commanders.
What do they command?
Nobody.
They command zero
They
respect.
don't get anybody. They don't get anybody to command anything, just so your equipment doesn't get wet.
Thank you. They command zero respect. They command zero in terms of fear. Who's their quarterback? Carson Wentz?
Yeah, I don't like Wentz.
Do you remember there used to be an argument between Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott? Who's better?
Yeah. That didn't last very long, did it?
How times have changed, Brandon.
How they have changed.
Okay, so is that for the NFC, or do you think that's just in the NFL in general? The Eagles will be the most improved team.
I mean, I'll stick with the NFC, saying that they'll be
Okay.
the most improved NFC team. AFC team, Broncos. I think Denver's going to be. I like. Look,
I think you're
Wilson,
drunk.
Not yet, but I think that they have a good defense, and I think if Wilson can adapt, I know it's a great division, one of the top in all of football. If he can adapt and have a better year, I think the Denver Broncos could be a dangerous team in the AFC.
I did not like that trade for Russell Wilson at all. I feel like you make that trade when you feel like you're a quarterback away. Their best weapon was Noah Fant. They traded him away for Russell Wilson. This doesn't seem like a lateral move to me for Wilson. This seems like a step back because you had arguably the most physically gifted wide receiver we've seen since Megatron in DK Metcalf. You had Tyler Lockett able to take the top off the field, right? Sutton doesn't ever stay healthy. And I don't know who the other wide receiver is in Denver. Phillip Lindsay is their running
They have
back.
that one kid. He was hurt. Judy. But he's nothing to write home about. Not yet, at least. But
Yeah.
he could be. He could be a good receiver, right?
But they don't have the pieces that I think, right? And then I look at the other teams in the AFC West. Kansas City. Enough said. Even with losing Tyreek Hill.
Las Vegas should be much
enough said.
improved. I like
Look
Vegas.
Look at what Vegas did.
I like Vegas.
They added a lot of defensive players.
Got a good running game.
They added Devontae Adams. And then you look at what I was going to say San Diego.
San
Superchargers.
Diego.
Superchargers.
They're going to be good. They're going to be good. That's a good
They
division,
added
man.
defensively. They added offensively. All Denver did was add Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was the fourth best quarterback in that division last year. That included Jimmy Garoppolo. This division has Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Derek Carr. It's feasible to think that Russell Wilson could be the fourth quarterback in this division as well.
Could be, but then again, he could do what Peyton Manning did. That's jump from one great team to another team and then
Yeah,
have
but-
no problem adjusting to that offense. We'll see.
Yeah, but Frank and Manning.
Yeah, I know. He's
They-
Frank and
they,
Manning.
They put him
Big
together with
difference.
nuts and bolts. He was buoyed by a great defense, one of the greatest defense we've seen of all time.
Oh, yeah? They're getting ready to come in from what I hear.
All right, so I might move myself out of this.
Phenomenal.
We'll keep it here on me and Brandon.
I see this big boy here behind us. He's probably the security.
Look at that crowd back over there. Everybody here excited, awaiting the arrival of the one and only Troy Aikman. I feel like I just went almost full-on wrestling promo there, Brandon.
It's a guy coming out of the restroom. Everybody's excited. They're all, woo! So funny.
Hey, I mean, every now and then you gotta drain it, right?
That's what I hear. You're a funny guy. This place is gonna friggin' erupt. It's gonna erupt when
I'll
they
say
see him,
we'll
though,
tell.
you know?
We'll know. We will know, Brandon, whenever Troy Aikman shows up.
I would say so. I'd say that's a virtual certainty, right?
Yes. So in what I laid out for you, and talking about what the Denver Broncos, have I changed your mind?
No, you have not changed my mind. You have not changed my mind at all. I'm still going to say that they could be, if Russell Wilson adapts, they could be the most improved team in the AFC. That's what I'm sticking to it. I made an opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
I appreciate that you stick to your opinion. Your opinion is wrong.
I understand, and I understand that you believe that of me, and you think I'm a putz, but what's new? You've always thought I was a putz. But the feeling's mutual, my friend.
All right, Dan.
What's wrong? Did we lose our... We good?
If I can, Dan, I'm going to send you a link. Would you mind connecting your camera so that we can see everything? Or are you wanting to get like video for yourself? How are we doing this? All right.
Are we still on?
Then I will send it to Destiny. We are still on. Babe, I'm going to send you a link. I'm going to send you a link if you can put the video up. All right. As you can tell, we planned this out. We had months and years to plan this out.
We had a long time, right?
I literally learned about this event happening on Thursday. Yes. This has been a very busy weekend for your boy.
Just a little.
Also, again, I cannot state this enough. I want to give a shout out to our guy, Dan Morales. Thrive 915, Melt Your Belt food truck. Go check out their Crybaby mozzarella sticks. Those things are absolutely amazing. The Divine Swine. There's a reason why I'm going to be 947. I will be the Puerto Rican Rikishi.
That's very funny.
You don't know who
funny.
Rikishi is, do you?
No, but you're a funny guy.
You're like, that's funny. You don't remember wrestling from like the 2000s?
The who?
Wrestling from like Rikishi, the big fat guy?
I don't watch wrestling.
I'm talking about like
I don't watch wrestling.
yeah.
You know me. I don't watch wrestling.
No, he would like pull up his like shorts and then put like his ass in your face.
Sounds fun. Sounds like a great time. Sounds like it'd be the greatest time in the world, as a matter of fact.
Whenever he comes, I'll put you on. Okay.
I like the way she's going to do that. That's awesome.
Yes.
Good shtick, you know?
Yes. I might not be prepared.
We should get our server on, too. She's a nice young lady.
Alyssa.
How do you feel about Troy Aikman about to come here, Alyssa?
Are you a Dallas
Don't be
Cowboys
shy,
fan,
Alyssa?
Okay, at least that. At least she's a Dallas Cowboys fan.
You're good, right, buddy?
Yes, we are
We're
good.
good.
Yes.
Thank you, Alyssa.
In my haste, I knocked my camera down, Brandon. So I knocked my camera down. All right.
You're my buddy. This is great.
So
isn't
we
it?
were about 5 minutes away from Troy Aikman showing up.
She's a nice young lady. She was cool as heck.
5 minutes away from Troy Aikman.
What are the chances? Oh, sorry, as I'm bumping into Destiny. What are the odds that we actually get the great Troy Aikman to come over here? How serious was your buddy about it, or is it just going to be chaotic? It's probably going to be chaotic, obviously, when he comes in here.
I think with the amount of people here, they're just going to want to get him up.
Yeah, I think we'll slim to none, but hey, you know what?
Yeah.
We were breathing the same air.
We tried.
We were breathing the same air.
We were in the same building with Troy Aikman.
We were in the same building. God, I love this song.
What song is this?
This is Piano Man by Billy Joel.
I can honestly say I don't think I've ever heard this song.
Are you freaking kidding me? It's one of the greatest songs of all time. He doesn't know Piano Man by Billy Joel.
Yeah, I was asked right now, am I on radio? Yes. On AM Sports Radio.
Mike Tipton, for crying out loud. He probably doesn't know who Elvis is. Did you know there's an Elvis movie coming out on Friday? Who? You're my buddy.
So you also have to remember the age of my parents. Yeah. My mother loved Elvis Presley.
Well, yeah, so did mine.
I grew up in a very Baptist house, Southern Baptist house. We were not allowed to listen to like any type of music.
I feel like we're getting false hope here, you know? I feel like every time I get excited, they're...
Again, we will move cameras around. I think I've got it now. Oh, there we go.
Good.
As you can tell,
I just saw him. He went upstairs.
He did?
He just
there
went
he
upstairs.
was. He ran upstairs.
So
I'm telling you.
That was up. I don't think he's just going to come down.
No, probably not.
And that's actually, he's upstairs. If only we could do an interview up there. It's actually a smart move. That way he's not like mob down here, you know?
No. How about them Cowboys?
So what's he going to do, bartend from up there? That's kind of crazy.
I think what they're going to do is just have people go up and...
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like to select 5 people. Did you get him? Go get him. Going upstairs.
Go do it.
It was cool to at least see him, right?
So we tried. I think we failed fantastically.
More than likely.
In our effort to try to get Troy Aikman on here.
But at least he kind of like walked within 10 feet of us.
We're here. And he's here.
He's here. We're in the same building. Elvis has not left the building yet. Literally. Got.
He just got into the building.
Just got here.
All right, everybody. I know it was very loud during this show. I'll go ahead and end this. If we do something with Troy Aikman in a little bit,
let you
see
know.
if we can't get some video going on the tipping point and things of that nature. Brandon, thank you for coming out here.
Thank you for having me, buddy. I got nothing but love for you.
Thank you to those listening to the podcast, all that other stuff. We'll see you all next week.
We did our best, you know?